Codename Chaos by Ink Stained Quills. Read by My Lost and Found. Summary. Class 1A is going into midterm chaos until Aizawa-sensei says the magic words. It's only cheating if you get caught. This fic is about 2,000 words and 1 chapter. It is rated general audiences and no archive warnings apply. As always, link to the fic is in the description. And on with the story. Kaminari, Ashido said solemnly. Prepare my funeral. Kaminari waved finger guns listlessly in the air. Well, you can't spell funeral without fun. If you lot are gonna die, then just do it already, so I don't have to listen to your complaining anymore. Bakugou slammed his notebook down onto the lunch table, lurching forward. Bakugou, Kirishima said, in the sort of tone one would use when they were just informed that their house had burned down and they weren't particularly shocked. Come on, cut them some slack. We've been studying for 2 hours, Tsuyu supplied as she sipped her tea. 2 hours, the redhead finished. Just then, Uraraka burst into the dorm's common room. Has anyone been down to the library? Todoroki nodded quietly behind her, unwrapping a mint as she continued. Well, they've got mints free, because midterms? Todoroki, Midoriya began suspiciously. How many mints have you had? They're spearmint. I'm hoping if I eat enough of them, they'll cancel out my father's quirk. The boy explained. That would be fascinating. If the part of your mouth that processed cold simply shut down the heat receptors in your body, shutting down your quirk, that would be revolutionary. And that doesn't answer the question. Todoroki ate another mint. I've had 10. What? I can't feel my face. Ida shrieked, horrified. Friend Todoroki, that seems an unhealthy way to cope with your father issues. Problem children, Aizawa began. Why aren't you preparing for your midterms? At least 3 people screamed. So, Kaminari announced, after Aizawa was safely out of earshot. Let's go ahead with Plan F. Zero raised his hand. Plan F doesn't have the best ring to it, Kami. Ashido waved her arms, slumping against the couch. The name is immaterial. The plan is what counts. Kaminari paused for a moment. Since when do you use the word immaterial in normal conversation? Is there a reason I'm here? Asui croaked. Nodding energetically, Kaminari turned around to point at the froggy girl. You got 6 on midterms, right? Asui tapped a finger to her chin in agreement. You want studying help, kiddo? Not exactly. Ashido winced, then clasped the other girl's hands. This is gonna sound so bad. Zero scowled. Wait, I think I know what you're gonna ask. Something Yaoyorozu and Ida have too much integrity for, so number 1 and 2 are out. Bakugou's busy with Kirishima. And he'd also kill us? Kaminari supplied helpfully. And Midori's a pure little cinnamon roll, so there goes 3 and 4. 5, Todoroki, doesn't really go for this sort of thing. Zero finished. Logically, you're asking Asui to help us cheat. Damn, Ashido commented, impressed. That was basically Sherlock Holmes. High school, my dear Watson. The boy's ever-present smile wavered. This isn't a good idea. Just then, there was a ping on the class group chat. From, oof, ouch, my bones. Guys, Aizawa just made an announcement. From, Oof, ouch, my bones. A new challenge.
What do you mean we can cheat on the midterm?
Ida yelped.
Isn't the point to make it through with integrity, hard work?
Honestly, it'd probably be harder to cheat than simply get through on your own merits.
Aizawa shrugged. Jiro raised her eyebrows, spinning one of her earphone jacks between her fingers. So you're saying anything goes, as long as we don't get caught? Eyes gleaming, their teacher inclined his head.
I know Class 1A is creative. Surprise me.
The words echoed around the room, each student a visceral reaction. On one side, Midoriya's face had just turned pinched and anxious, as most of the class turned to look at his desk, along with Bakugou's, who glared out at the class as if daring them to ask.
Momoyao,
Jiro shouted, leaping up from her desk as Yaoyorozu swayed.
Don't pass out.
All right, morons,
Bakugou announced to the class, now gathered back in the common room.
Who intends to cheat on the exam?
Several hands raised, and the explosive boy glared out at the students.
Not you, shitty hair, unless you're implying my tutoring wasn't good enough.
Kirishima slowly lowered his hand.
Question!
Ida called from his position next to Bakugou and Yaoyorozu at the front of the room.
Why are we doing this?
Bakugou snorted.
Because they're gonna cheat, whether we like it or not. And at least this way we can monitor the dumb shits. We were top 3 for last year's midterms, so...
Oh! Yaoyorozu pressed a hand to her temple.
Momoyao!
Jiro yelled, and shook her head. All right, I suppose that makes some form of sense.
So, what do we do, oh glorious leader?
Kaminari asked, sticking out his tongue. Bakugou reached out with a disgruntled expression and grabbed the offending appendage.
Oh, Lasty, I wasn't doing anything. Joke somewhere else,
Ida scolded.
We have to prepare, if we're...
Here he winced, closed his mouth, and opened it again. If we're cheating, Yaoyorozu said, sparing him, we're doing it right.
This is occultist. Does anyone read me?
Reading you loud and clear, occultist. This is Alien Queen. Mina, that's way too obvious. But babe, I'm just proving a point. Alien Queen was a perfectly valid name.
Alien Queen, Progmeister, stop waving your relationship in everyone's faces and for heaven's sake get better code names. Everyone knows who you are.
I'm sorry you feel threatened by our superior flirt game, Sato.
And now you're using actual names over the radio. Guys, are you sure this is gonna work? This is All Might Secret Love Child. Over.
This is Mochi. Deku, did you let Todoroki pick your code name? Deku.
Uraraka, you named yourself after your favorite food. I don't think you can talk. Who came up with this? Bakugou, use your code name. I mean, shit.
I can tell that those were Jiro, Bakugou, and Kirishima in that order. This isn't gonna work.
Come on, Hagakure. We can refine the process. Oh, and this is, Tail Guy.
No, because Aizawa will recognize our voices? There was silence over the radio for a long moment. Koda doesn't want to talk verbally either. Midoriya switched off his walkie-talkie, looking over to his girlfriend.
Mochi?
Hush you. Attempt 2, Yaoyorozu announced cheerfully. She'd had reservations at first, but was now fully on board. It was just another challenge set to them by Aizawa-sensei, and she could treat it as such in the interest of professionalism.
What dumbass came up with passing notes?
Bakugou demanded, staring with open disgust at the next suggestion on the list. Kirishima winced.
I thought it was something we could do with minimal effort, you know?
The blonde was silent for a moment.
Maybe it's not the worst suggestion in the world.
Aww, Jiro, Ashido, Kaminari, and Sero chorused, earning crackling noises beside their heads.
Punk chick!
Bakugou roared.
I thought you were sort of okay.
We've inducted her, Ashido called back. Guys, Asui pointed out, what if Aizawa-sensei reads our notes? Sato pondered this for a moment, then snapped his fingers.
We could eat them.
Gross, complained Hagakure.
No, not actual notes,
Sato explained.
Like wafer notes. You eat them after.
Ojiro raised his hand.
What if we get ink poisoning? Can you get ink poisoning from something like that?
Shoji wondered. Aoyama perked up, confusedly staring around the class. Wait, who got ink poisoning? Ida sighed.
I don't think this is going to work. This is the one. I can feel it.
Midoriya cheered, waiting for Yaoyorozu to read the next suggestion. We all eat brain foods before the tests, the girl read. Everyone turned slowly to Sato. He glanced behind him. I guess people really do that in real life, Uraraka thought. Then whipped back around.
Wait, it wasn't me.
I put it in, Todoroki announced. I want Bakugou to cook for us. Bakugou cooks? Hagakure wondered aloud. At the same time, Bakugou screamed,
I told you that in private, half and half. Bakugou's an awesome cook,
Kirishima declared, wrapping an arm around the blonde's shoulders.
He makes a mean meatball.
He's only cooked for us, 3 times a year, Sero complained. Though, he wouldn't ever really do that in our first year. I guess we're lucky.
Damn right you're lucky,
Bakugou snarled.
See if I ever cook for you again, icy hot.
Midoriya gasped dramatically.
Kachan cooked for you? He must really like you guys then.
Pretending to wipe away tears, Kaminari and Jiro pressed their hands to their hearts. Friends.
Yeah.
And that was how the entirety of Class 1A got meatballs, which Bakugou continues to deny were because Kirishima liked them to this day.
So, problem children,
Aizawa said from the front of the class.
I hope I'll be impressed.
The class nodded, pencils at the ready. He handed out the material, and they sat at their desks and worked. This should be good, Aizawa thought, ready to shut down any signs of communication. But an hour passed, with not so much as a snippet of Morse code, a yawn with answers dropped onto a desk, a strategic cough. They were simply working, and while he was proud that they had enough integrity to buckle down and work on their studies, he found himself feeling vaguely disappointed. Where were the clever schemes?
I think we got away with it,
Midoriya muttered, disbelieving.
I mean, we didn't get called out on it.
We could still be screwed, Jiro pointed out. Stretching, Asui leaned into Ashido's side. We could have just studied, you know. The pink-skinned girl shrugged, putting her arm around Asui's waist. Where's the fun in that?
Well, problem children, you did it,
Aizawa grumbled while he passed out the graded midterms.
I've never gotten a 100 in my life,
Kaminari sobbed.
What is this?
Their teacher looked over the class with a semi-interested expression, the closest he'd ever got to being impressed.
I'll bite. How did you do it? I had cameras running on you the entire time. You never said we couldn't employ other students, Aizawa-sensei,
Ida explained.
So we ran it heist style. First, we roped Shinso into it,
Midoriya told him.
We had him plant subliminal suggestions into our brains so that we could retain information better.
You didn't notice, because we did it one at a time while you were focused on our other plans, Uraraka continued. Yaoyorozu laced her fingers together. Then we asked Hatsume to hack in and show us what the tests were going to be on.
From there, we could beat the information into these guys' heads.
Bakugou sat back proudly, lolling his head to the side.
It was a logical ruse, Aizawa-sensei,
Kirishima said apologetically, though not without rightful pleasure. Aizawa shook his head, zipping up his sleeping bag.
It was a logical ruse, like the one you used to kick Mineta out at the end of first year.
That was mostly on him, but yes, Jiro acquiesced.
In that case,
Aizawa continued,
if it was a logical ruse, I suppose there's nothing I can do but pass you.
The class let out a joyful shriek, Midoriya suddenly finding his arms full of Uraraka. Kirishima high-fived everyone within view, Dark Shadow whistling with relief as Tokoyami pretended he'd known it would be fine all along.
But if you ever,
Aizawa declared,
cheat on a test that I do not give express permission for, I will expel you.
Yes, sir.
Aizawa huffed a laugh, quiet enough he thought the kids couldn't hear.
Good job, problem children.
And that is it for this fic. I just love the premise of Aizawa being like, yeah, fuck it. If you don't get caught, you can cheat on your test. I don't care. And them just like absolutely buckling down and doing it right. They did it. They won. It's lovely. And the teamwork. I very much enjoyed this fic, and I'm so glad I got to podfic it. Anyway, yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to go to the fic. It's always in the description. You can always go check it out. Leave a kudos, leave a comment, whatever you can. I am sure the original author appreciates it. Anyway, that is all I have for this time. I will see you guys next time.